I'm here to vlog about day 4 and 5. I don't remember if I vlogged on day 3, but super quickly on day 3 I had a mild headache during the day, no reflux, did wake up with a very mild headache, and I was a bit tired. And when I say mild headache, I just mean something that you quite don't know it's there, but it's there, like a very, very mild bother. Okay, so on day 4, which was Friday, I had I woke up with kind of like the same symptoms, like a super mild headache that quite wasn't there. I didn't have reflux at night, but it was also because I took reflux medicine. So if anything, I would say that reflux is my biggest side effect, but not to the point where it's too bad or incapacitating, right? However, I helped myself with medicine, because otherwise, if I can't sleep, then I'm going to be tired. So I wasn't really tired. I did a lot of stuff on Friday, and in the evening with dinner, I think I had a glass of wine, and I had very mild reflux from it. But I think it's also the fact that the metformin does give me reflux as well. So the one thing that I just decided is, well, we occasionally go out to dinner and I have a glass of wine. So I think that's something that I need to leave out, because it's not really helping my reflux, and it's okay. I mean, I don't need to keep on doing it, right? I've tried enough times to kind of gauge and see, and yeah, I always have the same reaction to it. Okay, so on day 5, it was kind of strange, because I had like a mix of constipation and also diarrhea. And I'm sorry if this is gross for some of you guys, but what I want to do is vlog my symptoms, because I think it's nice to just hear people's experience, especially the first week, since this is something new that we don't quite know how it's going to work. There are so many uncertainties, right? So I think it's a good thing to just kind of spell everything out for those of you that, like me, were kind of looking to see what was going on. And then on Saturday, I would say it was the first day that I didn't feel that strange feeling about not being hungry, but still having like a drive to eat. It's very strange, but if you have an addiction to food, like I do, you might understand, and this might have stemmed from fear of the unknown of what was going on. So knowing a little bit more about how this is expressing itself, like the medicine, how it's working for me, it's kind of given me pause. So I do have to say that I did have that, right? And like the mix of like constipation and the contrary. And I did have a little bit of reflux, but I also had dinner too late, because like my stomach wasn't feeling that great and my family wanted to go out to dinner. So it ended up being that I ate. I did, however, choose to eat fish and a little bit of coleslaw and a little bit of a baked potato. So I started with the fish. Once I was halfway through the fish, I incorporated a little bit of coleslaw and then a little bit of the baked potato, because what I learned with keto was that if I lead and start out with the high carb food, then my spike in glucose is going to be higher than if I lead and start with like my proteins and my healthy fats, and then and vegetables, of course, and then I go into the carbs. Okay, and that coleslaw, I'm sure it has sugar, because that's what restaurants do. So that's why I didn't eat that much of it. It was just kind of like a little bit. But my stomach was not in place for me to just go ahead and do either raw or cooked vegetables, my stomach was a little bit weird. If anything, like what would have helped was a brat diet, which is definitely something that I can't do being a diabetic, because I've done it and I know what happens and I don't want to go back there, right? It's just crazy. So I kind of wiggled it the best way I could. And yeah, so that was day 5. And I do have to say that I kind of had, so before starting on this medicine, I was not having a snack. After starting with this medicine, I am having a snack, but I'm also eating smaller portions, so it kind of makes sense to have that snack. Otherwise, I will eat too much in one meal, and that definitely triggers my reflux, especially if that meal is dinner, and it's just a nightmare to go to bed like that. And I experienced that already, and I don't want to go through that anymore. So today is day 6. Last night, even though I had that late dinner and I had like a very small glass of wine with it, which after like I was feeling the reflux and the stuff, I told my husband, listen, I know that we like to order a glass of wine when we go out to eat, but that's something that I'm not going to be able to do with you anymore, because I just can't. It doesn't help me. So I made that decision last night, so I'm communicating it to you guys today. And I know that this week was a little bit abnormal, like we had 3 or 4 days. It's typically 1 or 2 days during the weekend, so maybe that also made it worse. If it were just like 1 day a week, it might not be terrible, but it was a few days in a row, so I definitely don't think that helps. For those of you that like to have a glass of wine, just so you know, and watch for your symptoms. I've been logging everything. I really write everything down, and I have a log of the food, when I take my medicine, what time I eat and what I eat, and I always scan my sensor before eating, and then a few times after I ate, just so that I can kind of see how the curve registers, and I don't just see it on a chart type of thing, but I also have the specific values, right? Because that chart is like so small that sometimes I don't know if it's something between 100 and 150. I don't know if it's a 125 or a 135 or a 115. It's just too small for me to really know much. And maybe there's a way to export it to the computer and see it on a larger scale and be easy or to tell what exact value it is. But anyway, this is where I am right now, right? So yeah, and I did weigh myself, and I'm surprised. Like there is progress, and I told you guys that I'm going to give you an update on the weight. But the first update that I do want to give you guys is that yesterday was the first day that I didn't see one of those crazy spikes in sugar. But it's also because I chose to eat differently, right? So when I did choose to eat those rice balls the other day, like my sugar just went skyrocket high. So I definitely know that that's not something that I can do, no matter if it's whole wheat, whole grain rice. My carb portions have to be very, very small. Like my doctor, I haven't had the diabetes education yet, so my doctor did say don't ditch carbs completely. So I've been kind of incorporating them, but there has to be, like, I feel more protein and like vegetables, and just the carbs be kind of like on the, you know, last part of the meal. So I really need to do that, because this medicine is not going to be magical that I'm going to be able to eat carbs and my sugar is still going to be okay. I'm still diabetic, and the fact that I'm diabetic just means that carbs make my glucose like spike, right? So I do have to know that, but you know, a little experimentation since I have a continuous glucose monitor. So anyway, not to go too much into that, because that was just one day, one meal. But there were other days that there were certain carbs, or like a small piece of fruit or something, and like I think I didn't keep to the order properly, and for some reason when I do that, it just gets harder for my glucose to be stable. So if I continue eating like I ate yesterday, and then I have one day where I ate something a little higher in carbs than what I thought it was or whatever, I'm sure the spike is not going to be so great. But if I keep on doing that day after day, like, the spike is just going to be crazy. So I'm really looking forward to Thursday, and today is Sunday. I'm really looking forward to Thursday when I get to go, and in the morning I see my doctor again, but in the afternoon I get to go to talk with the nutritionist and diabetes education coach, whatever it's called, because I do want to start a meal. I've walked a little bit here and there too, not quite as structured as I would like it, but I'm starting. I'm getting there. I'm more mobile, so that helps. That definitely, I'm sure it does help. So tomorrow marks a week. And tomorrow I'll give you the update of kind of like weight loss and like the average of my glucose from day 1 to day 7, even though I haven't been quite really following a diet, because I've kind of been eating whatever myself. I still haven't had that part of the nutritional education that I need, and I think that's a very important part, because it's just not the medicine alone. I also have to have a way of eating. I'm just unsure, so I don't know how many carbs is okay to eat. I was kind of testing it, and too much is definitely not okay, but too little might be okay for a while, but I don't want to go into hypoglycemia either. So anyway, those are kind of like my questions right now. I hope I can have an answer for you once I go on Thursday for my diabetes education. I'm going to keep on filming these videos. Like I said, not 100% sure if this is something that will ever make it to YouTube or not, but if you're watching it, it's because I decided to just upload them and do this with you guys, because I don't know, I'm kind of leaning that way right now. So anyway, I'll come back tomorrow, do that update before my second shot. And the way I'm feeling right now, and from what I've heard from other people, I don't even know if I really need to take the second shot tomorrow. With this, what I'm saying is, I've heard a lot of people that that say that they didn't need to titrate so fast up, and some people that they could space the shots because otherwise they didn't want to eat. And right now I'm in a good spot where I'm okay with eating, and it was not like that no hunger weird sensation that drove me crazy. And it was like, why am I not hungry? I have to eat because I'm not hungry, and I didn't know quite when to eat or what to eat, right? So I don't know, I might just go and do the medicine on Tuesday, just to give that an extra day, and yeah, see what happens. But I'll have to follow my sugar tomorrow and see how that goes before making that decision. But I'll let you know tomorrow, because I'm going to film right before my shot, so I'll be able to give you that data right before I close for the week.